What is up, YouTube? It is your boy again, the Ol Drunken Geek, and today I want to introduce a new segment to you guys. It would be called ODG Fanfixes. It's like fanfic, right? But it's old movies that I've seen, nerdy movies that I've seen that I would fix and how I would fix them. So this is like if I could go back to back in the day and like pitch this movie to studio execs. This is what I would pitch. This is the movie I would pitch, and this would replace the movie that actually came out. I'm gonna do a series of DCEU movies. So the DCEU had a lot of missteps, obviously, and yeah, I'm gonna remix their shit. So here we go. Today I'm gonna start with The Green Lantern, which came out in 2011. This movie just all around sucked. That movie so sucked. So what sucked most about it is that they did so very little of the mythos. They didn't plant any roots from that would ask questions like, oh, where did this come from? Where did that come from? Oh, I want to know more. That was one of their biggest mistakes. The other mistake was that they kind of gave us some shit too soon. First movie, right off rip, and we got Parallax. That's no, man. Parallax, you save that shit for way the fuck later. Yeah, that, and also the movie was just all around goofy. It had a script that just went all over the place. Plot didn't make sense. So I'm just gonna go and remake it. So here it is for you guys. The movie would open up with Abin Sur, which is the Green Lantern that gave Hal Jordan his ring. It opens up with him in space. Just first scene off the bat, no explanation, no nothing. Him fighting a Manhunter. For those of you who don't know, the Manhunter were created by the Guardians of the Universe. They were like the proto Green Lanterns, right? So you just show a fight, and like they're getting fucked up, like a just action porn basically, right? Just Abin Sur versus this Manhunter. And at one scene, this is like minutia. I'm not a director or anything, but I think it'd be really cool if fucking Abin Sur just cracks him across the face, and you just see all this crack on his face. So the whole movie, the guy will have like his face all cracked up and shit. So they're fighting, blah, blah, blah. And anybody who knows Green Lanterns knows that the ring kind of like talks to the user. So I would have the ring be like, yo, 1% left on your ring. So you better haul ass because you need to charge your ring. Or, you're going to fucking run out of power and die. So, he cracks him. And this would take place in kind of like a Death Star ship. Or like a planetish ship, just like a space base that's so big it looks like a planet. Just that would be, I just feel like super cool. Just introduce you to the type of shit that Green Lanterns have to deal with. You know what I mean? So boom, 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 boom. No explanation where this fucking Manhunter came from. Nothing like that. And he fucks up Abin Sur, but Abin Sur fucks him up back and kind of like knocks him out. Right? Abin Sur somehow makes it into this little escape pod, and just flies off. Now, for comic book readers, I know that Abin Sur in the comics, which is a retcon and is fairly modern, he was fighting atrocities from the Red Lanterns, if I'm not mistaken, and that's what happened directly before the Green Lantern. But I would like to keep other shades of the spectrum for later movies, as if anybody's gonna give me these properties for real, right? But let's imagine. Let's have fun. Let's imagine, right? The Red Lanterns, Sinestro Corps, all that, I would like to leave for like way later. So for now, let's just say he was fighting a Manhunter. And okay, so that scene is done. Boom, intro. You see Green Lantern, right? No explanation. Cut to an introduction of Hal Jordan. And you would just go basically to a bar. And Hal Jordan's there in the bar, and he's taking shots, being funny, being Ryan Reynolds basically. Some comedic dialogue, blah, blah, blah. You get to meet some of his friends. And, of course, you get to meet Carol Ferris. And they're talking about the next morning. They have a flight. Maybe he should take it easy with the fucking drinks because he has to fly. And he's like, well, whatever, bro. I'm like the best flyboy there is. And Carol was like, yeah, you're so good that the Air Force kicked you out, right? Oh, cheap shot. All his friends were like, oh, shit. This would basically serve to, like, inform you as to who Hal Jordan is, because as we know, he's like a funny guy. He's like he's a flyboy. He just like takes split decisions and is like very impulsive, kind of like Poe in Star Wars. Just a super cool character like that needs like to have a little corner in the movie where they explain who he is. So this would serve. And in some other dialogue with other characters, not with Hal personally, but Carol can just kind of drop it, name drop the incident that kind of pushed Hal to be a fearless person and not live with fear, which is the story of his dad. His dad used to work for Ferris Air. He used to be a test pilot for them, just like Hal is now. You know, one of the times he was testing a plane, he was taking off and the plane blew up and Hal saw it all. He was right there, standing right there, you know, and this kind of traumatized him, but in a way that it helped them be fearless. It's kind of a weird situation. This bit of information would be picked up in future movies, but at the moment it would just be like commented upon very shortly, just brushed upon lightly. You know, oh, what happened to his dad? You know, moving on. You would see the next day, and in the movie, The Green Lantern, Carol Ferris was already like an executive at Ferris Air, and she was doing all this stuff. In this movie, in my movie, she would be a fly girl, just like him. She would be a test pilot. So they were like flying partners in a way. You know, they were on separate planes and everything, but they were gonna do the same thing they did in the movie, which is they were gonna test their planes for some big contractor, military contractor, kind of trying to sell it to the army or I mean the Air Force, Marines, who they all got planes. So I don't know, whoever in the military, they would both go out, take some air. Hal Jordan would do some damn superfluous ass maneuvers he didn't need to do and cause a little bit of trouble. In the middle of this, that's when Abin Sur's ship enters the atmosphere, causing their comms to just fritz out. They fucking can't come. They can't control their fucking plane. And the Air Force is like, the Air Force guys, and they're like, what the fuck's going on? I thought your planes were safe proof. Oh, we don't know. Shit. Whatever. So Carol fucking takes the lever and just, you know, she ejects from her plane. But for some reason, Hal's isn't working. Hal's gets stuck, you know. Perhaps before this whole plane ride, you can have them comment as like, you know, the planes aren't ready for flight. They're not even ready. And Hal's like, I don't give a fuck. I can ride this shit because I'm Hal Jordan, right? And you can also paint it as Ferris Air is kind of having some troubles economically. They'll probably close down if they don't get this contract from the Air Force or Marines, whoever. So, you know, his shit is stuck, and Abin Sur lands. When he lands, that's, you know, more or less when he, you know, Hal's in descent and he's about to crash and shit, and Abin Sur gives the rings the instructions, and the ring actually saves Hal Jordan from the crash. Not only does it save him from the crash, it takes him to Abin Sur. Abin Sur says his last words, which are basically not that much important. I haven't decided yet. You know, this is in my imagination, so I don't decide if he can say something cryptic or if he can say something basically unimportant because he's on his deathbed, right? But the fact is that he didn't want the ring to pick just anybody random. He decided to land on Earth and, you know, gave the ring specific instructions to pick a specific person. Why? You might learn this in the second movie, because I have like 3 or 4 movies worked out for this. Because I have nothing to do except steam vegetables in my house, if you get what I'm saying. Now, Hal Jordan is stuck out in the desert somewhere after he's, you know, talked to Abin Sur or whatever. He's got the ring. He doesn't want to be a Green Lantern necessarily. The ring has kind of explained it to him in his head, what it does. But he's like, fuck this ring, man. I don't want to be a fucking Green Lantern. Matter of fact, I need a drink. So he goes back to the bar that we saw in the beginning of the movie. And, you know, he needs a drink, man. Some crazy shit just happened to him. He needs a drink. Unbeknownst to him, though, the government has sensed that a ship crash landed on Earth and sent some agents to check up on this shit. You know, like some, not FBI, but like kind of like some Men in Black type people. And this is one of the few things that that 2011 movie got right, was Amanda Waller. I thought she was pretty cool. But I thought she was like in the movie a little bit too much. In my movie, I would put her in there, but just a lot less, because after the events that are gonna transpire, most of this is gonna take place in space in Oa. So there's no need for her to be just such a heavy presence in the movie. But I would introduce Amanda Waller because, you know, world building, and Amanda Waller is a cool character. And it would make sense that she'd be looking out after some shit like this, right? So the government has gone to the crash site, found Abin Sur, all that shit. Meanwhile, so now they're tracking Hal Jordan, right? So he's at the bar, and Carol comes in. She's like, where the fuck have you been, bro? Like, we've been looking for you. He's like, oh, I had a rough day. He's like, no, there are all these suits, these guys in suits all over the place. They've been trying to shut down Ferris there. We've been looking for you. We went to the crash site of the plane. Your seat didn't eject, but you weren't there, so we don't know what the fuck. Meanwhile, you see the people, the government people, like checking for radiation with, the sticks that they do in the movie. Ah, there was an alien here, crazy shit like that, basic shit like that. So for whatever reason, they come at Hal Jordan the wrong way. Like he's in the bar with Carol, and they come in, all machine gunned out and shit. And I was like, oh, what the fuck? What the fuck do I do? They want to take me in and shit. He's kind of like freaking out, not afraid, because Hal Jordan doesn't really get afraid. He's more like, I don't want to deal with this shit, man. I don't want to. So the ring comes out, and he's like, hey, do you want me to take you or not? And he's like, he puts it on for a little bit. The suits are coming at him, so he's like, boom, he shoots one of them. Maybe not like at him. Maybe not through him or anything like that, but like at them, and it blows up the floor, and they all fall back like Power Ranger style. Right? So he's like, all right, fucking ring, get me out of here. Take me to this Oa or whatever. So the ring takes him to Oa. Now you see him flash out through space, and you can have like a kind of trippy scene where he's just like flying through space super fast. Imagine what galaxies and shit would look like if you were in like a hyperdrive. Like galaxies and shit already, like nebulas, they already look like clouds. So wouldn't it look super cool to fly like if you were Superman flying through clouds, but they're like nebulas and stars and shit? I just always thought that was really cool imagery, so I would include that in the movie. Eventually he gets to Oa. He meets with the Guardians, and they explain the history of the Green Lanterns to him. You get the Tomar Ray, I believe his name is, the fish Green Lantern guy. Same introduction that they gave him in the Green Lantern movie, the 2011. And yeah, you just do some of that stuff. Also, you introduce Sinestro, and you're like, well, that ring you got? The fucking Abin Sur was Sinestro's like bestie, bro. When they were early Green Lanterns, they were like partners. And yeah, they've always had a lot of respect for in the Corps. And not only do people respect them, they respected each other a lot, and they were really best friends, and they were really seen as the two best Green Lanterns that might have ever been. And now you're his predecessor. You're Abin Sur's predecessor. So not saying the pressure's on, but the pressure's kind of on, motherfucker. You get a little bit of background of what's happening with the Green Lantern Corps at the moment. And you get another cool name drop. You get Mongul. You are basically fighting the Mongol's empire, kind of. War world is what Mongol has. Sometimes it's painted as like a war machine, a planet that's a war machine. I've seen it written that way. Other times, like in the Justice League movie, you see it as like a slave planet, kind of like Sakaar, where you have these battles, kind of like the Mojoverse from Marvel as well. That's broadcasted. You have different ways, but in my interpretation, War World would be like his planet that's like a machine, kind of like a Death Star situation. And he has like an empire. He's been conquering shit. And the Green Lanterns are trying to stop him. But you would only hear this. You wouldn't see him. You wouldn't see Mongol because, budgets. Let's take it back to 2011. This would be the beginning of the DCEU. So, they probably wouldn't invest, which I don't think they invested a whole lot of money in the Green Lantern film. So we want to keep the budget down. But you would mention him, and you would make the big thing that the Green Lantern Corps at this time is busy fighting that fight. Kind of Abin Sur's whole situation kind of gets swept under the rug. But that's just details, right? As far as Hal Jordan, he goes into training because, he finally gets fused with the, like he does like where the Green Lantern ring is like bonded to him now. So now he has it, but he still has to go through some training to complete the process. So obviously who trains him? Kilowog, because Kilowog trains them all. Now in the 2011 movie, I hated that like Kilowog threw 2 rocks at him, and then when he comes out and bosses up with the fucking ring, he's like, oh yeah, can I train him? Dude, you like threw 2 rocks at him. You didn't do shit, bruh. But in this shit, he wouldn't be the only one getting trained. It would be like a class, like 4 of them, like Hal Jordan and 3 other random lanterns, dude. Like they have so many Green Lanterns, you can just fucking do so many of them. You just pull deep ones from the comic and make up new ones. I wouldn't necessarily want too many like people. Like I wouldn't get the ball guy. and like Boudica and like some, not all the famous cast, just like a couple, maybe like Boudica can be in his graduating class, right? So you show them how to control the ring and stuff like that, and you show that Hal Jordan is good at one thing, flying and shooting, but all the other Green Lanterns are in his class are advancing in their skills in making constructs, lifting things, and he's kind of have very basic skills. He's kind of garbage. In this movie, he wouldn't even make constructs till the end of the movie. He's kind of just shooting beams and flying because it makes no sense for you to get your Green Lantern ring and you're automatically fucking good at the shit. Yeah, give him a little bit of struggle. Give the character a little bit of struggle before, he finds his bearings and is able to do stuff. That's one thing about this movie too. Like, throw two rocks at you, oh, you're trained, you're good. I know that when the Green Lantern dies, another one takes his place. The reason that there is 4 people in a class, that would make sense. Like, damn, 4 Green Lanterns died, is because of this conflict that I talked about with Mongul. Not only would they get trained, they would also be taught things by Kilowog about the Green Lantern Corps in general. So they would be shown things like the Book of Oa, which is a book that has like all the recorded history of the Green Lanterns. Now, before I go to my next point, I want to state that during the movie, you'd have little snippets on Earth. Most of this movie obviously is going to be like large portion of it, probably like the second act is all going to be Oa. How getting trained in Oa, how sucking, how not fitting in, going to maybe like a bar full of Green Lanterns, and people are like, "Oh, that's Abin Sur's, you know, next guy that took over Abin Sur. That guy, he looks like a fucking, he looks soft, bro. He ain't shit. He can't even like lift rocks and shit with his ring. Like, what the fuck? All he can do is shoot and fly. That guy sucks, right? Shit like that. Just things to build up the character, give him a little bit of difficulty before he becomes like a hero. With that being said, in between all his OA training seasons, you'll have like 1 or 2 scenes of like Amanda Waller maybe talking to Carol Ferris, maybe Amanda Waller doing some experimental stuff with Abin Sur's body. Just, well, not necessarily her necessarily, but she's the military lady. She's like watching over it all. Also, what you would put is the Manhunter from the beginning of the movie has been knocked out for like a couple of weeks at this point because fucking Abin Sur fucked him up. But now you see him waking up, and he goes inside the giant base that he was in the planet or whatever, where they were fighting in the beginning of the movie, and he finds like this big black like stone dungeony type instrument, and you see him tap his staff to it and absorb a bunch of yellow energy, and he flies the fuck off. Now, anybody knows a Manhunter knows that what they do is hunt men, right? Not like in a Versace way, for the Eminem fans out there, right? They hunt women too, so I don't know why they're called men hunters. I guess it's different times. Just like, well, women don't matter, just men. Obviously, they're in the kitchen, right? So these comics, a lot of these things came out in the 50s and 60s, different times, right? So manhunters hunt people, right? So they're really good at like tracking them and shit like that. He follows Abin Sur's trail back to Earth, and now he starts going to Earth. You would go through this peppered through the second act. Now back on Oa, I would make the Book of Oa a little bit different. I would make it kind of like an oracle. Like it's just energy and information in this energy, and maybe predictions and stuff like that. But if you're a human, when you go, it takes the physical form of a book because constructs, right? So it takes the physical form of a book, and everybody sees it different. Obviously, different races use like scrolls or whatever, not scrolls for Marvel, but like scrolls or tablets, books, whatever. So the whole point is that Hal Jordan wants to see more or less what's happening on Earth, right? So he kind of sneaks off after dark and sneaks into the Book of Oa, and he sees a vision in the book of Carol Ferris being killed by the Manhunter, because the Manhunters, he went to hunt Abin Sur, but now has realized that the Green Lantern ring that he had has passed over to somebody else. So now he's following kind of the trail, and he's gonna eventually land on Carol Ferris. Now this hasn't happened yet, but Hal Jordan is seeing it like, oh shit's about to happen. Hal just fucking says fuck it. He fucking takes a trip to Earth. He leaves before his training is complete, right? Which, by the way, for anybody who's a Green Lantern fan, he would have the the insignia float outside of him. I just think it'd be a cool thing if, like, until you graduate from like Green Lantern Academy after being trained with Kilowog, you have the insignia like as a light projection outside of you, and then when you get trained and you're like, okay, you're officially a Green Lantern, like they push it in, and it's like, shh, okay, fuck, I'm a Green Lantern, right? Just minutia, just shit that just would look cool to me in a movie. So Hal Jordan flies back to Earth, boom, 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 to stop this from happening. He goes see Carol. Carol's like, dude, no, I'm fine, but where the fuck has you been? He's like, what? I've been gone for like 2 weeks. Nah, motherfucker, you've been gone for 3 months. Ferris Air is going into bankruptcy and shit because of that whole situation. So I don't know, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You seem to have found a new life, though. Go and do you, bro. I will be okay. And he's like, oh, no, maybe I should quit being a Green Lantern. And she's like, look, I haven't seen you this happy in years. Being a test pilot obviously wasn't working for you. Go and have your adventure. He's like, oh, okay, cool. And then the Manhunter comes and starts fucking everybody up. Amanda Waller and her forces go handle him. The reason that he's been gone, by the way, for a couple months is because space travel. That's never been addressed, like, in anything. The reason that he can fly now to Earth almost in real time is because now he's bonded with the Ring. But before that, like, the Ring had to take him like the long roundabout way to get to Oa, so it took months. But of course, he was traveling at light speed and through wormholes and shit, so he didn't feel it. But whatever. Back to the movie. So now you got the Manhunter going against Amanda Waller's people, just making quick work of him. Like, whatever, bro. I'm a Manhunter. Like, you ain't on a machine gun or whatever. At the same time, Kilowog has noticed that fucking Hal Jordan's missing. He's like, what the fuck? And you know, he obviously is like, what the fuck? They track him back through whatever. So I guess they can ask Slack with his fucking multi-tabs of computers, right? And his 6 arms and shit. And they can track him back to Earth, and they head out there. This Manhunter not only seems like normal Manhunter, he seems like frantic because he absorbed so much of that yellow energy. Now, I know a lot of you people are probably out there like, what the fuck? You're getting no... This sounds like a shitty movie because you're giving no explanation to this Manhunter. No, because I would leave it like a cliffhanger. Like, where the fuck did this Manhunter come from, right? But this is basically just to introduce Hal Jordan's character. And this is expecting that we're going to get a sequel, right? So, it's in my imagination, so if you don't like it, fuck you. Just Kilowog and Tomar Ray are flying to Earth to save Hal Jordan, you know, or to pick him back up. And then find him fighting this super fucking energized Manhunter. He starts fighting them too. They start handling him a little bit, but he's handling them back. And he's beating them real good too. And at this point, you can have the moment where Hal Jordan, like, finally comes to, he's like, all right, I got work to do. And I've never made constructs before because I haven't had, you know, the willpower to do it. But right now I need to do it for Carol, for Earth, for the Green Lanterns. You know, he does, you know, and bright as day and black as night, blah, 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 right? No evil shall escape my sight. You know, let those who worship evil's might beware my power, Green Lantern's light. You know, he does the thing just to say it because you have to do it at least once in the movie, right? So he does it, and he comes back, and he just is, you know, at this point, Kilowog has gotten knocked down a little bit. Tomar Ray's knocked down a little bit. They're not out of the fight, but at this point, he just comes in and just pummels the fuck out of that Manhunter. You know, he does the whole boxing glove thing. He hits him with machine guns. Does really cool imaginative constructs that he does. Very cartoony constructs. And of course, once Tomar Ray and Kilowog get up, they just finish fucking this Manhunter up and to take him back to Oa. And he's like, dude, you fucked up. But this was super impressive at the same time. You face down this Manhunter who's charged with yellow energy for some reason, which we're going to have to investigate, but not right now. Right now, like, say goodbye to your little girlfriend and come rejoin us or send your ring away. Decision's up to you. We're going to leave now. So he goes and talks to Carol Ferris one more time, and Carol's like, dude, I told you, go be a Green Lantern. I don't care. I'll be good. You know what I mean? My daddy's rich anyway. Even if the company go into bankrupt, she'll be okay. So he's like, all right, goodbye, kiss. Boom, he flies off. Boom, end the movie. Short movie, simple movie. Doesn't have to be crazy. Oh, one more thing. When he gets back to Oa, everybody gets a partner. Like all his graduating class all get a partner. Somebody that's gonna train him for a little bit, right? So the guy that gets Hal Jordan is gonna be Sinestro. Sinestro's like, you know what? I heard about your shit. That was impressive. Come with me, bro. You're gonna be my partner. You're my Padawan now. You know. And though in Star Wars terms, you're gonna be my Padawan now. So and that's how the movie would end. He's gonna go off with Sinestro and have some adventures. That would be the first movie. It would be a lot of comedy, kind of like a Marvel movie, because, in my opinion, Hal Jordan, the character, lends himself to that kind of tone. Not that every movie has to be that way, not that all DC movies would have to be that way or should be that way, but at least Hal Jordan definitely, to me, lends himself to that type of tone. So, yeah, that's my fanfics of the 2011 Green Lantern movie. And yeah, from there on, I would build out the DCEU accordingly. If I could go back in time and have like some power or say in how these movies get made. But that's just my little fanfics. If you liked it, you can comment down, put a like down if you like this video. Thank you for watching, you guys. You can catch me on IG, Ol Drunken Geek. That's OL, not old. OL, like it's an old drunken geek. You know what I mean? And yeah, thanks for watching. Catch you guys later. ODG out.